Regulations of 2022. Madam Speaker, there needs a framework for how this country is going to go into the investments that are going to be funded either through public-private partnerships or joint ventures or any other investment that will be requiring us to go beyond what is provided for by the Exchequer. Madam Speaker, this becomes so critical, especially when we realize that in the last few years, we've had investments that have ended up becoming liabilities, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, the space of how government interacts with private investors to bring public goods ought to have a solid and robust legal framework. So I want to commend the proponents of these regulations, Madam Speaker, and in the same breath also commend the committee that has presided over the framing of these regulations, especially with the speed at which they have brought them here. Madam Speaker, while moving this motion, the leader of majority did allude to a project in the name of the expressway, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, this was a project that was intended to clear congestion in this city. The investment that went into it, some of the rep codes are telling us that on the expressway, we were building 1 kilometer of road for R1 billion, Madam Speaker. Even in the strangest country, Madam Speaker, no one can be in support of such investment, Madam Speaker. The framework with which we shall be paying for this project, whether it shall be through the tolls or through the clauses that were changed in the last minute that require the country to pay straight from the Exchequer if the tolls do not meet the target of that is expected for repayment, is an arrangement that cannot be allowed to be repeated, Madam Speaker. So, Madam Speaker, to my mind, the investment that went into the expressway was enough to decongest this city if it had been invested well in a mass transit system, in trams that could have been laid out across the city. But the situation we find ourselves in currently is that there is a beautiful upper deck that is serving a very select part of the population in this city. However, where the masses are traveling, which is the lower deck, is in an unmotorable condition, Madam Speaker. That is why in the last parliament I had brought a question to this house asking, does the ministry intend to repair the lower deck of Uhuru Highway, where most of the hustlers, most of the people in the city commute using the lower deck? The upper deck is a preserve of the few who can afford to pay the toll up there, Madam Speaker. So, Madam Speaker, I'm in full support of a framework that will bring regulations to public investments so that our investments become actual investments and not liabilities that shall be tied around the neck of the taxpayers for years that we cannot count. Madam Speaker, I'm in support of the public investments management regulation.